Now, Carl, I know you're fascinated by the concept of the doppelganger, of seeing someone who looks exactly like you.
Yeah.
Jake has emailed in. He says, Carl, if you could spend a day with an exact replica of you, okay, so somehow they've cloned you, Carl, and you've got him for one day, what would you do with this? What would you make him do? What conversation would you have with him? What would you do? Is there anything you could, how would you utilise him for one day?
Well, they'd both say, I'm not bothered, and that'd be the end of conversation.
Yeah.
What would do me head in is, does he think the same way, look the same way,
Exactly the
dresses?
same.
Yeah.
How would I know which one I was?
Because you'd be you.
That's amazing.
No,
How would I know which one I was?
Incredible.
No, because...
That is the most stupid thing ever said by a human being. Can we get the Guinness Book of Records on this? Has anyone anywhere in the world said anything more stupid than, how would I know which one was me?
But think about it, this other person's going, all right, thanks for meeting up and that. And I go, hang on a minute. No, you came to me. And then Suzanne would come home and she wouldn't know the difference. And then suddenly you'd start doubting yourself. And you go, should I be leaving? Or... So, how do I know if I am that real one, if he knows what I know?
But you know who you are because you're experiencing
But he'd
it.
be saying that because he'd say, yeah, it is a bit weird,
But
isn't it,
you know
Owen,
the truth, you idiot.
How would I know which one I was?
So anyway...
But bear in mind,
What would you do?
You could pass him off as yourself.
What would you do? Would you play tricks? Would you,
You could be in two places at once.
Would you do stings? Would you do scams?
No, because it would only end up getting me into trouble, won't it? Because people won't believe that there's another one like me. Otherwise, everyone would be saying that when they get caught robbing. They go, oh, it wasn't me, it was me doppelganger. It can only... I wouldn't want it, to be honest. It's a bit of a headache, isn't it? Because he could be going off, going mental, causing all sorts of trouble, and you're going, will you pack it in? And he's going, what? What are you on about? But then that wouldn't happen, would it? Because he's being me, so he'd be sat wherever I am anyway. Because he'd want to do what I want to do. So, pointless. But I still wouldn't want it.
It's unbelievable.
That was a conversation with himself.
That was amazing.
That was like experiencing what it would have been like if there was two Carls.
Yeah,
he's having a discussion with himself.
We could have left in that time and come back, and he'd be arguing still.
What does this mean? Does this mean though that I could just sit at home and not do anything, and just send me out on?
Yes.
And when he's seen something happen, I'm seeing it.
No.
You're separate people.
You're separate people.
But then he's not a doppelganger then,
Well,
is he?
you're identical twins then. You found out identical twins and he's got exactly the same input as you. I mean, it's not a real question, is it? It's just a little... Again...
But I said to you the other week about twins and that, how I wouldn't like to have a twin. It's alright when you're a kid, but unless you're a Siamese twin, even they don't even look alike, do they? They're just stuck together. You don't go, oh, don't they look like each other? They have different haircuts. They don't carry that thing on, do they? That normal twins do. Like normal twins, the mums say have the same haircut, wear the same shirt. Siamese twins never look the same. They've just got their arse stuck together.
Again, it's a dialogue in his own head. It's unbelievable. Okay, Carl. This is a logical conundrum. To a certain extent, there's a little bit of lateral thinking because, but there is only one right answer. Now, the pressure here isn't to get this right. The pressure is when I've told you the answer to then understand it. Because when I've explained this to people, I've laid out for them, they still can't quite get the concept. Okay, so there's two doors, Carl.
Yeah.
One leads to heaven, one leads to hell.
Yeah.
Okay, they're identical. You can't tell them apart. Okay, 50-50.
Right.
Obviously, you want to go to heaven, I assume. Right, there's two guards, identical guards, guarding each door. Okay?
Right.
The one guarding hell always tells a lie. The one guarding heaven always tells the truth. You have to ask one question to find out which is which, and then go through the door you want. What question do you ask?
I've only got one.
Yeah.
And what? One to both?
No, one to either of them. You don't know which one's which, though. So what question do you ask?
Why can't I ask, like, both of them one?
Because it's
Because
not the rules.
are you can only ask one. There aren't actually two doors labelled heaven and hell, Carl. This is a leap of imagination here.
And I've definitely got to answer. I've got to ask them a question. I can't just sort of have a feel of the door to see if there's any heat or anything.
They're identical. You stand a few yards away. You cannot tell from the outside of these doors which is which. What question do you ask?
I can't look through the keyhole or anything.
There's no
Can't get anywhere
keyhole.
near them. Let's imagine there's a small rope that prevents you from getting anywhere near, rather like outside a nightclub.
Yeah.
So they stood there.
Yeah.
They both look the same. They're both smiling,
Yeah.
but one of them's not really smiling. Really, he's trying to make me make a mistake, isn't he?
Well, he's just going to lie when you ask him a question. If you ask him.
So what's the point in asking a question? Do I know one of them's going to lie?
Yeah.
But would they be neighbours like this? Would they be that close? Why?
I mean, we're not sure if these two guys get on.
Because it's a logical. Well, I'll tell you the answer.
No, I want to see if he can get it. He's almost there. No, he's not almost there. What am I thinking?
No, hang on. Right, so you go up and you
Yeah.
go. You
Right,
go,
hang on. Well, look, let's imagine that. Let's imagine Ricky and I are those two guys. Okay, right?
But we have to. Well, me and Steve would decide which doors we're guarding. Okay.
Right.
I'm.
Look away, Carl.
Okay.
Right,
then.
so we've decided. Okay, one of us is guarding hell and one of us is guarding heaven. Which question you're going to ask and who you're going to ask it to?
Right. I'll just say to you, Steve. I'll go. Got some post for God here.
That's not a question. That's a statement.
Right, you've got some posts for God here.
Well, that's not a question.
Yeah, but maybe the question's coming. You got some posts for God here, yeah.
And it needs to be signed.
It's not a question. Still not a question.
No, let
So
him finish.
is God in? Because I need him to sign for this post. Is he in?
Well, I can answer that as well if you want.
Go on.
He's in. He's behind my door. Do you want to answer it?
Well,
Yes,
Do you,
he's
want,
in.
do you want to get him? Just.
Well, no, you've only got one question.
So you're asking Steve, is God in? What's the answer?
Yes.
Ask me. Yes.
Look, lads, I'm just trying to do a job here. What am I going to do with this?
Well, give it to me and I'll give it to God because he's behind my door. Steve?
Yeah, give it to me and I'll take it into God because he's behind my door.
You're an idiot. Let me tell you the answer. I'm guarding hell, by the way. I'm the devil. Steve's God, okay? So you asked me what Steve would say if you asked him what door he was guarding, and I'm going to lie. I know he'd say heaven because he'd tell the truth, but I'm lying, so he'd say hell. So the question is, if I was to ask the other one what door he was guarding, what would he say? And whatever the person answers is the door they're guarding.
Steve, what door are you looking after?
Well,
Heaven.
yeah.
Why should I believe you?
Because you don't know. No, that doesn't work. Because you asked me the same and I'd say heaven as well.
Right, so who do I believe? This is where you use your gut feeling, though, isn't it? This is what life's...
Well, as opposed to the pure logic that Ricky's just used.
I just think, because there's a lot of questions in life where you don't know the answer and you go, do you know what? I don't like the look of him. So...
They're identical.
Yeah, but they're still identical twins. You always get a little snidey one.
Oh, chimpanzee, that is written it down.
That's the jingle there for Carl's diary. Here we are. Spoke to Ricky and his friend Glyn about art. I just don't get it. Ricky had some odd pictures on his walls. I don't have any pictures up in my flat because of the mirrored wall. But I can't say I'm bothered. The mirrored wall, we should just explain what that is. When you moved into your flat, there was an enormous mirror on one wall. Was that right?
We just got this flat and, it's not a big flat, so I think the people who had it before us, he was a gay fella, right, which was a bit like, oh, so you've been doing with that mirror and that. But that was...
What?
No, just, Just,
What? What has he been doing with the mirror?
Well,
What's he
just
been
a
doing?
bit-
Why-
No,
why-
it's just because they're quite sort of experimental in it, aren't they? And
I don't know. What do you mean? What do they do?
Well, I wouldn't know anything about it, but go on.
No, what do you want? What?
no, I don't.
Experimental in what
What do
way?
you mean experimental?
I just mean, they'd be doing stuff.
What?
Whatever they do.
Chemistry,
What?
have a chemistry set out, they were doing experiments. What?
No, just doing what.
Singing I Am What I Am and just checking out
No,
the
each to
dance
their own. I'm
moves.
not having a go at anyone, but
What?
I'm just saying, like, they're doing what they're doing, which
Carl, you're
is
not
annoying as
homophobic,
well.
are you?
Because,
You're not
no,
st-
I'm not. I'm
Well,
not. This is why. But
Why are you worried about what a little gay fella was doing in your flat before you got it in front of a mirror?
I wasn't worried about it.
Why
I
are
mean,
you thinking about what he was doing? Why are you fantasising what a little gay fella was doing in front of your mirror in your...
I'm not bothered. I'm just telling you why it was a bit odd that he had a mirror in there, right? But forget the history.
But you've got a mirror in there now, haven't you?
No, because what I did was I was going to take it down, And I thought, oh, it's a bit dangerous. This, you know, it could crack and
Because it's the
fall on
size
me.
of the whole wall, isn't it?
It took up a whole wall.
Right.
So like when he's moving about everywhere, he's got a good view of it and that. But he's got this full wall of mirror, and I thought I can't take that down. And I thought, what can I do? So I've just put wallpaper on it,
Brilliant.
and it looks all right. You wouldn't know and what have you, but it means that I can't put any pictures up. That's all. That's all I'm saying. 'Cause I've put a nail in.
And what don't you understand about art? What about art don't you understand? The concept, specifics.
No,
So-
that's like when we were in London having a shop around at Christmas, and there was that picture of fruit for 700 quid. It's like, well, just get some fruit. You know what I mean? You can get some real fruit for 3 quid.
Yeah.
I understand that, but don't invent cameras then, one or the other. Do you know what I mean? That's what annoys me. Someone invents something, and then they go, we've got to invent something else. Like the abstract thing. Why has someone gone, oh, I can't have paintings anymore because...
What do you think of Dali? Going melting clocks and stuff. No.
I mean, the first one was all right when he did the first clock, but then all the time he's just like, oh, I'll draw something, and it's got a melting clock on it. I'll do a sheep, put one of them on it.
Have you seen his lobster telephone?
That annoys me.
Why?
Because I think what annoyed me more with that is when I heard about how it happened, he had some artist mate round, right? And I don't know what happened. They were eating.
That's a hell of an anecdote.
No, but they were eating. They were eating some food and what have you.
Yeah.
Lobsters?
And yeah, they were eating lobster.
All right.
And
That's handy.
I don't know, the other artist, whoever it was, sort
Had a
of
phone?
started saying, "Oh, you and your clocks and all that," right?
Brilliant.
And,
This didn't happen.
They started arguing,
Yeah.
and he chucked some of the lobster.
Bollocks.
And it landed on the
It
phone.
bounced off his mate's head, went on the phone, and they both looked at each other like, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" And they brought out that phone as a bit of art. Things like that annoy me because
happen.
it was them just messing about.
That didn't happen.
Just telling you what I know. I saw his work. Each to their own. If that's what he's doing, I'm just saying. I'm not putting my stamp of approval on it. Art should be there to tell a story, not just to have a splash of colour.